victims before they feel strongly that they want to help. Yet, of course, paradoxically, it's crime against lonely and vulnerable people that often leaves the fewest clues and rely most on public help. Our next case is one of them. On Thursday, the 3rd of March, a woman's body was seen beside a country road near Lutterworth in Leicestershire. Whoever it was had been murdered. She'd been left in the field in the early hours of the morning. But for several days, that's about all that anyone could establish.
OK, folks, well, it's over a week now since the body of our victim was found, and frankly, we're no nearer knowing who she is. Despite some good local media attention, we've had no calls or suggestions even who she might be. This may indicate she comes from out of area. The problem we're having with getting any national coverage, as you're aware, is the preoccupation with the Gloucestershire incident in the Nationals. To that end, we've decided to take an advert in the Sun newspaper to reach a wide audience. We're hoping that people will respond to the advert with suggestions as to her identity, and it may also lead to some national TV coverage.
Her physique could provide a clue. 5 feet 1 and 13 stone. A size 22 dress, but 2.5 shoe.
I would appeal for anybody else who recognises the description.
I couldn't believe it was her on the television. I was absolutely, surprised.
So what's her name?
Her name is Tracey Turner.
And what's your relationship with Tracey?
My relationship with Tracey is a landlord and tenant relationship, but initially we were lovers at first. Well, I had a relationship with her, shall we say.
Tracey Turner was 30. From childhood, she'd suffered severe hearing problems. She overcame them with a deaf aid, which looked rather like a Walkman. She drifted into prostitution, first in Sheffield, then London, and 3 years ago she moved to Stafford.
Dear Mum, how are you? I just thought I'd drop a line to check how you are. I'm thinking of getting my hair cut.
She was quite a generous girl. She didn't bear any grudges. She used to bring little gifts and write nice letters. And she'd lend anybody a last penny. I just wished I'd have been there to hold her and tell her I love her.
Can you tell me, when was the last time that you saw Tracey?
The last time I saw Tracey Turner was on the 2nd at 2 o'clock, just before I was on my way back to London.
Hi.
You have some of that?
Yeah. Couple mug.
Oh, mug. Need waking up. Weather looks great out there.
Makes a change.
I think I'd go to the Building Society.
Tracey would always go to the Abbey National Building Society to draw out some money, which she would use to pay a minicab to take her to Junction 13 on the M6.
Do you know we've now got Tracey in Stafford Town Centre on the 2nd?
Yeah?
Yeah, she visited the Abbey National in the town centre about 5 to 3. All she knew was taking £5 out of a £6 account. And then she's seen late about 3:30 in the Tesco's in the town centre as well.
We had quite a good picture of Tracey now. We decided to try and talk to other working prostitutes who use the motorways or motorway service areas, and in particular try and get any to come forward that knew Tracey.
I met Tracey on Knutsford service station when I was going to Carlisle about 5 years ago.
And what actually took place on the motorway services?
Well, we used to go in the toilets and change from our jeans into our working clothes, into our makeups, standing around talking. Never discussed the customers, and we used to go our own separate ways.
What sort of person would you say Tracey was?
She was kind and generous, sometimes very stubborn. And she liked her own company.
The picture that we're getting of Tracey is of a sad and somewhat lonely girl who would hitchhike great distances up and down the motorway network. This is probably as much for company as for the purpose of prostitution, although prostitution was probably a good way of making money for her. We're going to focus our inquiries on service areas up and down the motorway. We're going to be tracing drivers through credit card sales, also stop checking drivers with uniformed officers' assistants, talking to them and hopefully getting some sightings of Tracey on the night.
What time was it when you first saw her?
It would have been about 12:15 a.m. I was at the Hilton Park Services on the southbound, on the M6, crossing from the garage shop to my lorry. And I noticed her then. She was walking away from the garage towards the entrance onto the motorway. She got what appeared to be a Walkman around the neck.
Did you drive off immediately?
No, I sat for a bit. I ate some chocolate. I had a bar of chocolate. I ate my chocolate in the cab. And I could still see her then. By this time, she'd reached the slip road, more or less, and was up on the curb. As I was watching, she was, appeared to be trying to get a lift. I wasn't going to stop for her, because it's not my company's policy. And as I was pulling away to leave the area, a red car came off of the car park slip road, more or less cut me up in actual fact, went past her, and pulled up further along the slip road and started reversing back to her. And as I've got past it, I've looked in the wing mirror and I've seen that it's stopped by her, and she's sort of leaning in and talking to the driver of it.
And you sure it was red?
Yeah, definitely red.
In fact, it was a red Mondeo, and its driver was traced through a petrol receipt.
Can I have a lift?
Where are you heading for, love?
London.
I just refueled my car and I saw this woman. She was standing there. I think I've seen her before because I do use the services quite a lot. Right, after I left the girl, I travelled back up the slip road, back onto the motorway.
So who did pick Tracey up that night? Were you at Hilton Park Service Station driving south on the M6 just after midnight that Wednesday night, the 2nd of March? By 1 a.m, she'd gone. Dave Cox, when Tracey was found, her clothes had been removed, and of course this jacket was part of that, not been recovered.
That's right, it hasn't been recovered. We'd be particularly interested to hear from anybody who finds a similar jacket, particularly if it's with other ladies' clothing or tracksuit such as that. And Tracey's headphone and amplifier device are still missing as well.
Now there's one other clue that you've got, which you haven't revealed up till now, which is forensic evidence. I'm not sure how much you think it's going to help with the appeal, but it's sort of the last chance. Tell us about it.
Recovered from Tracey's body were some flecks of yellow paint. They were in her hair and on her back. The paint is quite distinctive. It's a yellow...
Here's a sample of it.
Yes,
it's
a yellow paint which is used for respraying plant or agricultural machinery.
Sort of thing you see on bulldozers, JCBs,
etc.
Yeah.
Plant machinery.
Now, it would have been, what, 9, 10, 11 years old at least, you think?
Yes, it's got a high lead content, so it's probably not in current use.
OK, so it's somebody who's got access to this sort of machine, this sort of vehicle. Now, there have been 2 other murders of prostitutes in sort of an area not all that far away. In Birmingham, the 3rd of December, Samo Paul was murdered. Then there's this one, Stafford, with her body left in Leicestershire. Then on the 13th of May in Sheffield, Dawn Shields. Now, I know you haven't formally linked these, but could it be somebody, just possibly, who's driving Leicester, Sheffield, Stafford, Birmingham?
That's a possibility that is obviously at the forefront of our minds. We would obviously appeal to anybody who has information on that to contact any of the incident rooms or come through to this programme.
OK, well, here's the number if you can help in any way at all. 0500 600 600. It's a free call here to the studio, or you can call the Murder Inquiry Room at Leicestershire Constabulary Headquarters. That's 0533 482 184. 0533 is the code for Leicester, 482 184.